Hello, my name is Patrick. Welcome to my short video messages. This particular message is about our search for happiness. Now, everyone seems to have a different path when it comes to where we have explored or what we have looked for to become happy. But if you look back in your life, it's interesting how it all begins. As a young child, we begin to look forward to after school, time to play. We look forward to the next meal or dessert or a trip to Disneyland. And as a child, especially for me, I noticed that it was in the activities that we did, the opportunity to go out and play. I come from a very big family, and one of the things that we enjoyed most were playing sports. So I spent the greater part of my life looking forward to the times we would get to play. I personally didn't have a lot of enjoyment for school. I was very excited and active about playing. Anything outside. I most of the time didn't like to be inside. But the point is that if you look, you can either look at your life today or how you developed this whole search, but we have spent most of our life looking forward for some particular event or activity or substance that would make us happy. We never even questioned the fact that this continual search was always for something in the future. Now, it's hard for us to admit it, but it wasn't actually the event itself that was so much fun. It was the fact that when we were doing the event or having the particular meal or, being involved in the activity that we thought would bring us to happiness, it wasn't that particular outer cause that gave us the happiness. It was the fact that in that moment we stopped searching. We were just content doing or being in that particular moment. Before we started the search, and most of us don't remember that time, we lived in a continual state of being in the moment, totally and completely content with just whatever was in front of us. And then we began our search. Now, for me, it's interesting to notice that where your search has taken you and what you have long believed would make you happy. For me, the idea of the ultimate path to happiness was about money and financial success. The reason, or the idea for me was that if I had a lot of money, that I could do whatever I want. I could play whatever I want. I could have whatever, clothes or house or food or, in my case, the toys that I thought would bring me happiness. I could hang glide, I could fly a plane, I could scuba dive. All the different activities that I thought would bring me happiness would now be at my disposal if I had unlimited money and time. Now, as I became more involved in the outer search for financial freedom and financial success, I noticed a very interesting, I had a very powerful realization, and that was that at certain times in my life when I was making a certain amount of money, let's just say, for example, I was making $50,000 a year, 20 years ago, and I thought, wow, if I made $100,000 a year, I know I would be happy, because obviously if I can live at $50,000, $100,000 would give me so much more money, which would, equate into more things or more time, which of course would make me happy. And then I would be working with or meet someone who made $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 a year, and they felt like they didn't have enough money. Well, of course, that's easily explained by just the simple fact that as you make more money, you tend to live in a bigger house, you spend it all. You buy more expensive cars, take more expensive vacations, but it was a shock to me in my early 20s that as I began to be more involved in the search for financial independence and started to have friends or meet and spend time with people who had incredible amounts of money and were not happy, that baffled my mind. In fact, I had a good friend in high school who, I don't know if he had millions, but he had more money than he could spend. He used to travel around, well, I don't know if it was all the world or Canada, helicopter skiing, and he had a 3-story home. His family owned a farm outside of the city I grew up in, and the city sold half, or the father sold half of the farm to the city because they built an airport. And so he had this incredible amount of happy, but he was one of the most, or incredible amount of money, but he was one of the most unhappy people I ever knew. Now his particular story was that he didn't have the love of his life, and that if he did have the love of his life, then he would be happy. Now we all have our own particular stories of what we think would make us happy, but what's sometimes shattering to realize is that there eventually gets a point when we realize that there is nothing in the outside world that will give us this lasting sense of happiness. It was a shock to me when I first heard someone say that, because to me that was the most depressing thing I had ever heard. You mean this whole time I've been searching for happiness and thinking that when I finally have, you know, financial independence, that I'll be happy, and then to have someone tell me that that will never make me happy? You know, I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to try and find someone and that would say, okay, well, yes, you'll be happy when you have, all these outward things, and here, let me show you how to get those. And there's an incredible number of people out now teaching things like the law of attraction and how you can, achieve and attract anything you want in life. And there's nothing in any of these things that in themselves there's anything wrong with that, except for one very important, very simple thing. And the idea that something in the outside world will give us this lasting sense of freedom that we're looking for, it's not true. It will never happen. There are people that have, you could take Bill Gates or whoever. It's not his financial freedom that gives him his happiness. And of course, there's a part of our mind that says, well, yeah, we'll give it to me and we'll see how happy I am. But hopefully you've had a sense that it's not anything on the outside that will give you what you want. What our true happiness comes from is having freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom from stress, being able to feel completely happy and peaceful and free no matter what's going on in the outside world. And if you're not at that point yet, then move on and find a teacher that will show you how to attract whatever you want. And more power to you. What my message is about is being free right now, reaching our natural state. Because in our natural state, who we are as infinite beings of light, as points of awareness or consciousness, is free always, no matter what's going on in the outside world. And if that sounds appealing to you, the idea that you can be completely free and happy and feel incredible abundance no matter what your situation is, and you can have that right now just by going within and discovering the truth for yourself. If that's appealing to you, then that's what my message is all about. I know all about the attraction of trying to find outward things to make you happy, but if you had $10 million in the bank and you thought you had the love of your life, guess what? Your mind will tell you, well, what if I lost the money? Or what if my wife went with someone else? Or there's Bex. It's okay, Bex. There's a siren going. Anyway, my message is simply that what we really are looking for beneath our outward attraction for financial success or what the right mate or whatever it may be is the absolute peace of mind and love and feeling of safety and security that is actually who we are. We were that when we were born, before we started searching outside for happiness. My son Tanner, who's now 8, has taught me that. You probably heard this, I've sat with him for every day for 7 years, and I finally got it, that the truth that we're looking for is right here, right below all of our frantic searching for things on the outside. And if this is helpful, then follow that path and find teachers that will point in that direction. Find material that will help support you in uncovering the truth of who you are. If this can be of any help at all, that's my intention. I'm very, very passionate about sharing this with as many people as possible, and just this opportunity for me to share this is incredibly fun for me, and it fulfills me at such a deep level. I can't believe I've gone this long without actually doing this, but I'm very excited and happy that you're at least taking a look at possibly an unbelievable opportunity for you to experience life at a whole deeper and richer level, and that's what I would wish for you. So bye for now and enjoy the rest of the videos.